Alright, what's up guys? This is Kenny Ray with SportsSavant.com, and this is the first ever episode. Since this is the first ever episode, I want to talk about the NFL Draft, the very first event of the 2010 NFL season. Alright man, so what do I think about the draft? Well, just like any other draft, the quarterbacks are always a hot topic, and this year is no different. We had Sam Bradford, Jimmy Clausen, Tim Tebow, and Colt McCoy. All good college players. Tim Tebow, maybe the best college player of all time. Sam Bradford had an amazing sophomore season. And Colt McCoy is the winningest college player of all time. When you have a draft like that, everyone's excited to see where they're going to go, what they're going to do. So first player overall, we got Sam Bradford. Now, I think this is a pretty easy pick. He's got the height, he's got the accuracy, he's got the arm strength, he's got the leadership abilities. He won in college. He's got good feet. You know, I don't really see a downside to him. Of course, nobody is an automatic guaranteed lock to be a great player. But I think if I was drafting this spot, I would definitely take Sam Bradford, and I'd be happy to have him on my side moving forward. The next guy I picked was Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was taken at the end of the first round. You know, at first I didn't really think this guy was going to be an NFL quarterback, but I think he fell to a pretty good situation. He's got a young coach in Josh McDaniels who is starting to define his own offensive system, and he obviously wanted Tim Tebow. And if he wanted Tim Tebow, then I think he's got something in store for him, and I got no problem with the pick. It might have been a little bit of a reach, but at the same time, Tebow is an extraordinary player. He has a very unique set of skills, and if Josh McDaniels wanted him, then he did the right thing. He got up, picked him up, and now he's got him. Do I think Tebow's going to be a star? I don't know. I think that's a toss-up because, you know, obviously he doesn't have the right throwing motion. He hasn't played in this kind of offense before. So that's the question mark, but at the same time, he's a winner. He's a leader. He's an amazing athlete. So I think with Josh McDaniels, with the right training, if he you know, gets the schooling, learns how to be a quarterback, learns how to lead an NFL team, I could see those two being a pretty good tandem, just like, you know, Andy Reid, Donovan McNabb, just like Joe Montana, Bill Walsh, you know, Mike Holmgren, Brett Favre. They all had a pretty good career together, and I think McDaniels and Tebow could do the same thing. The one problem I do have with Tebow, McDaniels said he wants him to compete for the starting job immediately. I think this is a bad move. I think when you got a young quarterback like Tebow that needs some development, you need to put him on the bench. Let him know he's going to be on the bench. Let him come in for some wildcat, let him come in for some goal line plays, let him come in for some scrap plays. Don't let him compete for the starting job. You don't want your team identity to be Tebow right now. Let him learn, let him figure out the system, let him, you know, get acclimated to NFL life. In 2 or 3 years, once he's got the skills down, go ahead and let him be your quarterback. But right now, you got Kyle Orton, you got Brady Quinn. Let them do their job and give Tebow a year to develop. Moving on, we got Jimmy Clausen was his next pick. Now, do I think this is a good pick by Carolina? I think when he fell into the second round, you almost got to take him. I do think it's a bit of a desperate move by John Fox. John Fox knows he only has 1 year left in Carolina if he doesn't win. And he has Matt Moore coming in. Matt Moore may or may not be a good quarterback. We haven't really had a chance to find that out yet. He wanted to take Clausen. He wants Clausen to be his guy. And I can't really blame him for that. However, personally, I would not take Clausen. I don't think Clausen is a winning quarterback. I think he's got the right skills, but I don't think he has the right attitude. He has always been the #1 guy. He's always known, you know, his path to the NFL is paved. And I think he's a guy that might take the position for granted a little bit. I don't know if he has a work ethic, and I don't know if he has a leadership. If I was a coach, personally, I would have just let him pass and, you know, waited for the right guy to come in. Of course, John Fox doesn't really have that luxury. He's got 1 year, and you know, maybe Jimmy Clausen's his chance to show the organization that the team is building, the team is progressing, and can't really blame Fox for the pick. It wouldn't have been my pick. Next guy we got is Colt McCoy, and talking about winners, this guy is a winner. He's obviously the winningest college quarterback of all time. He doesn't have the deep pass. He doesn't have the height. Aside from that, he's got all the intangibles. He's a leader. He's won games. He's been there for 4 years, so he knows how to lead an offense. And I think he's going to be a pretty good quarterback, and he fell into the perfect situation. Mike Holmgren helped develop Steve Young at BYU. He helped Steve Young and Joe Montana with the Niners. He went to the Packers, where he obviously developed Brett Favre, helped develop Mark Brunell. Then he went to Seattle, took Hasselbeck with him, and Hasselbeck became a pretty good NFL player himself. Holmgren obviously has a good eye for talent, and he knows how to get the talent out of people that others don't necessarily see as superstars. I mean, look at Favre. Favre was wasting away at Atlanta. Hasselbeck was on the bench at Green Bay. Brunell was on the bench at Green Bay until he went to Jacksonville. I think Colt McCoy is in a very, very good situation. He's got 1 year to basically redshirt. Holmgren's already said he's not going to compete for the job, and I think that's the best thing that could have happened to him. He's got a year to learn the NFL system. He's got a year to learn behind Jake Delhomme, and he's got a year to learn from Mike Holmgren. Once the next season comes up, I don't think there's going to be much of a battle for the starting job. Delhomme already should not be an NFL quarterback unless some miracle happens and he has the most amazing season of all time, which I absolutely do not think is going to happen. Colt McCoy is going to pretty much walk into the starting job in 2 years, and with a year under his belt of just training, I think he's going to walk into a very, very good situation. Obviously, the Browns are going to be a much better team next year because Holmgren will be with them for a year. All in all, if I was a coach, I would be the happiest about the Colt McCoy pick. He got picked in the 3rd round, so the money is not a big issue. When you take Sam Bradford in the 1st round, obviously you got a giant commitment. If Sam Bradford does not turn out to be an all-pro every year, if he does not turn out to be a Hall of Famer, he's basically going to be considered a bust. And, I would probably take the risk if I was the Rams. I'm not knocking the Rams for taking the pick. I'm just saying there's a really big risk attached to it. At the same time, Josh McDaniels, he's basically, taking Tebow. Tebow's his man, and if Tebow doesn't pan out, then it's going to be tough for the Broncos organization to give up a #1 draft pick, to give up all that money on somebody that's not going to pan out. Again, I think it's a bit of a risk because he's not NFL ready today. But again, there's very good upside of Tebow, and I'm not knocking the pick. I just think there's a bigger risk. Clausen, again, he dropped into the 2nd round, so the value is there. He's not going to sign a giant contract. If he doesn't pan out, Carolina's not going to be, 3 or 4 years, down the road. They're not going to be completely hurt like the Raiders are by signing Jamarcus Russell, like the Chargers were by signing Ryan Leaf. When you get somebody in the 2nd round, you have a little bit of a, softer landing if they fall. All right, man, that's it for the quarterbacks. One more point I want to make about the NFL draft. I think it's pretty hilarious. We got Taylor Mays. Taylor Mays was a USC free safety. Pete Carroll was his coach at USC. Pete Carroll is now the Seattle Seahawks coach. And apparently Pete Carroll might have said something to Taylor Mays like, I want to pick you with my 1st round. We're hoping we get you. Taylor Mays took that conversation and kind of turned it on its head. He went to the press and calling out his old coach. I think this is hilarious. I think it's ridiculous. Taylor Mays, dude, come on, man. Pete Carroll's making a football decision. If he took another safety, the guy exactly your position, he took somebody else, the reason he took that dude is because he thinks that dude is better than you. You can't knock Carroll for that. He's making a football decision, and he obviously had a pretty good vantage point. He was with you for your entire career at USC. He obviously saw something else in this other guy that he thinks is better. Now, if you're upset, that's cool, man. I understand it. Don't go to the press about it. You play the guy 2 times a year. You're going to have a chance over the next 5 years. You're going to have 10 opportunities to play, not counting playoffs, to play Pete Carroll. If you're upset at him, show it on the field. You got Mike Singletary in your corner. You're going to be on a good defense. You got a good teacher. You're going to have an opportunity. Talk on the field. Don't talk in the press. You look stupid. That's it, man. Peace out. First episode ever. Thanks for watching. Later.